Hello there, Kobe1Knope here, welcome back to another video. Today's video I'm going to be talking about a season concept for a potential Battlefront 3. Now seasons will work similarly to how they did in the previous game. So the way seasons in Battlefront 3 will differ to Battlefront 2 is the inclusion of a battle pass. So the content will be spread throughout several months rather than releasing within weeks. So depending on the size of the content will result in how long the season actually lasts. So for this example, it lasts 4 months just because it's quite a big season and will require several updates. So I've spread the season between 6 updates and there's a 2-week gap between each update. This allows the devs to be able to spread out the content so there's something for fans to look forward to every couple of weeks, and it also gives them time to complete the battle pass alongside that, and it also gives devs the time to then work on the next season. So this season is Rogue One themed and it'll be called the For Jedha season. So the first update will include the new map, which will be Jedha City. This will be a large map, so you can have Galactic Assault, whatever new large game modes come along with a potential Battlefront 3. But also have smaller variants of the map as well. You can have your HVV or your Blast and whatnot. So what differs in these seasons is the inclusion of a battle pass. All the content that comes with the season that you usually get in a season would be free, with the exception of a battle pass, which would cost crystals, which would be the real money currency. This will also see the start of the weekly challenges that'll help you gain XP for your battle pass, as well as a Jedha 24/7 playlist just in case you struggle to find a game. So I thought I'd do it this way because I think the map would be the most exciting thing when it comes to a new season, so players will be able to jump on that, get a feel for it for the first couple of weeks before the introduction of new heroes. In update 2 is when we see Jin Urso. This is under the assumption that Jin wouldn't be a launch hero. I feel like it'll work similarly to how Finn and Phasma were introduced, because they were introduced so early on. They basically feel like launch heroes, but they didn't quite make the cut. I think there is a chance of them coming in Battlefront 3, because obviously we didn't get them in Battlefront 2, and since then they've become like big fan favourite characters anyway. And especially with all the positive reviews surrounding Andor, I think they've become more popular since then as well. There'll also be a new weapon in the same week as well, so you get the A180 blaster pistol, which is of course what Jin uses anyway, but because it's a pistol it'll probably be given to the officer class, but maybe things work differently in Battlefront 3 where multiple classes can have the same weapons, which would be a nice change to see, I think. So 2 weeks after that, in update 3, we get a new reinforcement, so that'll be the KX security droid. Now, I've not actually sat down and thought of abilities for the droid, but I thought it's Rogue One related, and honestly I think that, especially after playing the Jedi games, I think these guys would be terrifying to come across. So as I mentioned before, this would be quite big for a season, that's why it's spread over 4 months, but I've also included a Scarif map. However, the Scarif map will be from the original Battlefront, so I imagine they'll pick something different to what we got in Battlefront 2, so maybe the jungle map. I know it's not as simple as just copying and pasting the map, but it gives us more content without the devs having to create something entirely from scratch. So this will also see the introduction of the Scarif 24/7 playlist, just in case people just want to play that. I think at that point the Jedha playlist will be gone as well, just so you're not splitting up the players too much. So in the 5th update, we see the return of Director Krennic alongside his D29 heavy blaster pistol that some classes will be able to use. And then for the 6th and final update, we get the Partisan Gunner reinforcement for the Rebels, as well as a Rogue One playlist. So this will throw in Jedha, Scarif. If Tantive 4 is a map, Tantive 4 will be in there, and if Yavin 4 is a map, that could sneak its way in there as well. This just gives a chance just for Rogue One fans to jump in, play as Jin Urso, play as Vader on Tantive 4. So once them 6 updates conclude, that's when the next season will begin, a new battle pass will start. So this is in an ideal world where there'll be a big enough dev team to be able to pull this off. I think this will be the dream of what I would want in a season. So this is the battle pass overview. So it starts off with a For Jedha emote, then a For Jedha tag to put on your player card. You also got a background for your player card, some crystals, a kind of Jedha themed border for your icon. You get the Jedha background that you can use on the main menu, the Hope Suite from Rogue One just to play in the background of the menus as well as a Jedha loading screen, and at the end of this page you get Jin's headscarf. So you can add on the headscarf to a default appearance rather than it being a completely separate appearance. On the next page, we got the Tognith appearance, so this kind of themed around them. Again, you got a player icon, a name tag, more crystals, loading screens. There's a partisan flag border, which to be honest doesn't really work on this image, but I'm sure the devs will find a way. You get another background, but this one's just themed around kind of Saw Gerrera's window, because I just thought that looked cool. You get a U-wing skin, so you get it in black instead of the default blue. And then you get the Tognith appearance for the rebels as well. It'll probably work for all classes, just so it gives you more reason to want the skin as well. The next page is then dedicated to Andor. This is under the assumption that Cassian Andor is going to be a hero in the base game. So he'll get his Jedha appearance, he'll get, again, name tags, player icons. He'll get the Nyamos entrance theme, as well as a Fulcrum name tag, and the Fight the Empire emote. So next we've got the Tank Trooper themed page, although there's a U-wing player icon just because I needed to throw more rewards in here. There'll be a T-15 emote. The trooper kind of tries to start a conversation about a T-15 as a reference to that little scene in Rogue One. And the rest are kind of just like loading screens and banners. Next we have the Meftian page. I thought this was a cool looking species to add to the Battle Pass. So their emote on this page is the Carabas emote. Small icons. You get a K2SO announcer, so you can change the announcer voice for the rebels. We also thought, just so it's not so limited, I thought maybe the K2SO announcer will announce maybe specific things when you're playing as the rebels, but then maybe more generic announcements if you want to use that voice on any of the other legions. So that saves having to mess around on the menu selecting an announcer for each legion. Instead, you just select your announcer and maybe you could change it in between games. You also get the Partisan X-Wing on this page as well. On the next page, you've got the AT-ACT driver. The emote on this page is just him like pretending to pilot an AT-AT or something with sound effects, which I'm pretty sure there might be a similar emote to that in the first Battlefront. You also get the Scarif menu background, as well as other banners and things. So the next page is kind of one I had to like throw random stuff on. There isn't a skin for this page. So you got a BX security droid player icon. So the icons in the Battle Pass will kind of look more exciting than the default ones you'll get with every character anyway. So this won't be the specific one, it's just a random photo I found for the security droid. You get the Rogue One tag, a layer loading screen, you get the Imperial Research logo as a player icon background, although I didn't really make it work here again. I'm hoping the devs can do their magic. You get another announcer here as well, you get the Saw Gerrera announcer, and then the rest is kind of just loading screens and banners. The next page I have the Vader skin, so the model will be directly based off Vader's Rogue One model, and it will also include red lenses. Here you've got like a cool Vader player card, like background and icon. You get a hallway clearer tag, get some crystals, loading screens. You get the aspirations emote, as well as an entrance theme, so he gets the one from his hallway scene. The next page you get Jin in her Imperial disguise, as well as like Jin themed page, with Rebel Rising being a reference to the Rebel Rising book, which I highly recommend, by the way. I didn't quite figure out an emote for Jin, because I imagine her most iconic line to be her default emotes anyway, but I'm sure they could come up with something. There's entrance music as well, so that'll just be the Rogue One theme that plays as the title of the film comes on. But this will also be given to Cassian Andor as well. And then the final page is dedicated to Krennic, so you get a director tag, you get an emote. Again, I don't know what emote it'll be, but it'll be whatever they don't pick for his default one, so maybe it could be like the achievement emote or something. You get a Krennic announcer as well, which I think would be good fun. And then you also get more menu music, so this will be the Imperial Suite. It'll mainly have the Imperial Suite in it, but it can also maybe include the Imperial March as well, just like a nice 10-minute mix just for the menu. Well, that's all from me this video. Let me know if you have any thoughts of this season, if you'd enjoy playing this season, if you have any questions. Maybe I could do another video going into detail of the abilities of the reinforcements, as well as Jin and Krennic concepts as well. Feel free to check out the description, you'll find the link tree there to my other socials. Thank you all very much for watching, and may the Force be with you.